Hey guys, hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali, and today I'd like to talk about inquiring into the mindset. What exactly is the mindset, and how does all of the information that we get not only inform us, but they kind of begin to form us as well. If we can just pause and look at the two words that I had mentioned earlier, which is mindset and information, we'd realize that if we dissect the two words, they would help us understand things very differently. So when I take the word mindset, it tells me that it is made up of two words, mind and set. And somewhere it also tells me that if I sit with it long enough, just long enough, it reveals to me that it's a mind that's set. And if the mind is kind of set somewhere like the blocks or the pieces of puzzles that we put in together, we'd realize that it kind of comes together in very same exact ways. And in order to change the set itself, we'll either have to completely get a new puzzle piece, or we'll have to remove one of the puzzle pieces from the set that is given to us. If we remove one of the puzzle pieces from that puzzle set, which will need to be filled in with exactly the same puzzle piece that we had removed. But if we wish to renew the puzzle set and make it anew, we will need to inform it differently, thereby invariably forming it differently. Every puzzle piece of that set will need to be reworked differently. Either it will need to be expanded, which will entail that the outline of every shape and thereby the outline of the entire construct increases, expands, or by trimming out all of the puzzle pieces that have been placed together in order to make that set itself. And if we can understand the mindset from that analogy, we'd also understand that every information comes with a certain format. The word information in itself can be dissected into inform, redissected into inform. And all of the information that we constantly receive somewhere starts to form us, somewhere starts to shape us, somewhere starts to shape our thought processes, somewhere starts to shape the way we think, the way we feel, somewhere even begins to inform us about our own behaviors, about our own actions, about the way we look at ourselves, about the way we look at all of our personal and interpersonal relationships. Not only with the human life form, but with every other life form itself, with the planet itself. And in order to elaborate on that a little more about the way information forms us and thereby forms our mindset, I'd like to take a real life example. So just a few days back, a friend of mine with whom I've been in touch with happened to ask me that a friend of his or a colleague of his was coming to India and that he wanted to send me a certain gift from his place. And that kind of got me excited. Because not only was I receiving a gift, but it was from a different country. It was from a different place. It was from a different culture. It told me a story. And all of that combined together made it very interesting for me. So this friend happened to ask me if I'd like footwear or I'd like bags. And so I happened to ask him what kind of footwear. And so he told me that the footwear or the bag that he was wanting to send across would be very colorful. They would have a lot of colors to them. They would have a lot of colorful beadings on them, or some kind of colorful intricate work on them. And somewhere, as exciting as that was, I personally prefer colors that lean more towards this, which I think most of us would call black, or white, or cream, or beige, or grey. Now that's a personal preference that I have. When I stated my preferences, he kind of said that in my country, people use very colorful colors, which made me think of something that we all have learned somewhere while growing up, but we are not very consciously aware of it most of the times. And of course, since we are habituated to thinking in a certain ways, given our mindsets, even this information came to me in hindsight. It told me that probably this color black is the most colorful color. The color white is the most colorful color because both the two colors are an amalgamation of all all of the color spectrum that we probably are aware of or even not aware of. That one of this color absorbs all the color in the color spectrum and thus appears black or a little darker than most other colors, and the other side of the color spectrum that is represented through this color reflects all of the colors in the color spectrum that we are aware of, that we see, or are not even aware of because we do not see them. Which again makes me re-emphasize, is this and is this not the most colorful of the colors? Another example that I'd like to cite off, which I'd read a few months back, wherein I came to understand that there's a particular tribe in Africa wherein they do not have a word for a particular shade, a hue, a tint of the color green. Now, if they do not have a word for that color green, they obviously do not see the color itself because there is no information that informs them about the existence of that color, which does not impact their mind and therefore doesn't set in the mind itself. And if it doesn't set in the mind itself, it doesn't set in the brain. If it doesn't set in the brain, it cannot be made sense of by the sense organs itself. And I found that very interesting, that the informations that we receive not only form us, but the informations that we do not have cannot really form us in the first place, and therefore probably it gives us much more chance to expand our own awareness, to create our own awareness, to probably even recreate our own dictionary, our own mind, our own thought process, our own beliefs about the informations that we don't have. So how about taking the time once in a while to inquire about the kind of information that we receive that eventually begins to form and shape us? Because unless we do that, we really cannot form or inform our own selves. Probably even making a little more limiting, a little more difficult, but even probably creating an opportunity to probably help reform, redefine, and recreate ourselves. Let's try and think about that a little more as to how every information forms us, thereby forming our mindset, and be very aware of all of the information that we constantly receive. Let's try and think about that a little more, and I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contents of my videos, please do like, share, and subscribe.